This is the Sharp infrared distance sensor. It has a range of 10 to 80 centimeters, and I would like to use it in a project where an ultrasonic sensor just won't work. The problem is there's periodic noise on the sensor output, and its signal is horribly nonlinear. So how am I going to make this work in my project? Well, we'll see on today's episode of The Sharp IR sensor is simple to connect and use. All you need is to supply 5 volts and ground, and then it outputs an analog voltage from the signal wire that is proportional to the distance to the target. After this easy beginning, we start to encounter problems with noise and nonlinearity. We need to deal with these, so let's start with the noise. This is an image of the output of the sensor with the target set at 10 centimeters. As you can see, there is some periodic noise on the signal that needs to be eliminated if we are to get consistent results. There are 3 kinds of noise on the analog signal: sampling noise, switching noise, and an apparent randomly occurring low-frequency bump that occurs at various distance settings. Let's look at each so that we can devise a way to handle them. Sampling noise consists of about 38 milliseconds of pulses, followed by a 10 millisecond rest period. The height of the pulses is about 20 millivolts, and this height is independent of the distance of the target from the sensor. The effects of this noise are more noticeable at the larger distances when the signal is around 500 millivolts than they are at 10 centimeters when the signal is over 2 volts. Switching noise happens at either the rising or falling edges of the sampling pulses. These are quite large compared with the rest of the signal. You can see from the waveform that they are quite frequent. Low-frequency bouncing occurs at specific distances. For some reason, the signal at these distances has sampling periods that become elevated from the normal DC level. I have not been able to determine the cause, and it seems that nobody else has reported encountering these bounces. Maybe I'm just lucky. The bumps don't appear to be a phantom problem, however, since the target can be moved some distance away, and when replaced at the original distance, the bouncing will reappear. So how do we deal with this noise? Other YouTubers have mentioned in their videos that adding a 100 nanofarad capacitor at the analog input of the microcontroller will suppress the noise. I didn't find this to work all that well, so I used a low-pass filter instead. It only requires the addition of 1 resistor, so the cost impact is minimal. This made the response a bit slower, but that was tolerable in my project, and it was effective in minimizing the sampling pulse and switching noise. So I designed a 10 Hz filter using a 15 kilo ohm resistor and a 1 microfarad capacitor. This eliminated most of the high-frequency noise. A link to the filter design program is in the video description. In the video, the unfiltered signal on the top trace and the filtered signal on the bottom trace are compared. The signals are AC coupled and amplified to just show the noise. As you can see, there is a significant difference between the 2 waveforms. Notice that the high-frequency noise is mostly gone, but that there is a slight low-frequency sinusoidal waveform that remains. Adding the hardware filter was a good step, but it was ineffective against the low-frequency bump. Since we are after the DC value of the analog signal, and because of its random nature, there is no easy way in hardware to address the issue of the bump. We can now move on to the issue of the nonlinear analog output. As you can see in the manufacturer's diagram, there is an inverse relationship between the distance on the x-axis and the signal voltage on the y-axis. The graph is not detailed enough to accurately derive an equation for this relationship, and the specification only mentions that it is an inverse relationship, so I devised an experiment to plot the output voltage versus the distance. Here is a setup that I built so that I could accurately set the target at a specific distance from the sensor. I noticed that the sensor is sensitive to the angle of the target, so I made the test setup guarantee that the target angle was always perpendicular to the sensor beam. I made an Excel spreadsheet where I entered data from the experiment in the first two columns. The independent variable in the first column was the output voltage, and the dependent variable in the second column was the distance. I took distance measurements at 1/4 volt increments over the entire 10 to 80 centimeter range. I plotted this data on the Excel spreadsheet and then used the trendline feature in Excel to have it generate the equation for the curve. You will notice that the equation has values with 13 decimal places. It is necessary to go to that precision to get the needed accuracy. Even with that precision, the trend line diverges significantly as the distance approaches the 80 centimeter limit. The equation has an r² value of 0.98. A perfect fit would have been a value of 1.0, so this equation is a reasonably good fit over most of the range. I added 2 additional columns to the spreadsheet to check the results. The predicted column used the equation to calculate the distance, while the percent difference column calculated the difference between the actual distance and the predicted distance. The values up to about 60 centimeters were at or below 5% difference, but then by 80 centimeters it was off by 20%. The next step is to connect the filtered analog signal to an Arduino Uno. There are 2 tasks that the Arduino program must perform. One is to finish smoothing the signal, and the other is to address non-linearity of the sensor output. Let's address the non-linearity first. I can now use the equation derived from the trend line in an Arduino program to calculate the distance from the analog input data. Let's see if using this equation by itself results in a workable system. I wrote a simple sketch to read the analog input from the sensor every 50 milliseconds, convert it to volts, and then calculate the distance using the equation from the spreadsheet. The 13 decimal place equation was a challenge. The float variable type has a maximum precision of 6 to 7 places, so most of the precision from the equation is wasted. So I will have to accept some inaccuracy due to this limitation or use a different microcontroller. Let's run the program and see what the output looks like. I set the target distance at 19 centimeters where there are bumps in the signal. I created a telemetry monitor using software from upgrdman. This is cool software and it is quite flexible. I've placed a link to his video in the comments so that you can check it out. If you look at the plot, the range of the readings is from 14.3 to 19.4 centimeters, which is a pretty wide range. The Arduino is fast enough that it can sample anywhere on that curve, even at the extreme top or bottom of the waveform. The average of 17.7 centimeters is close to the target distance of 19.0 centimeters, so that's good, but it is possible to get a bad reading. Well, that didn't work all that well, so what's next? Averaging the readings would be the next step, but there's still a pretty wide swing in the maximum and minimum readings, which could skew the usable value. So let's take a few readings in a row and throw out the high and low values and then average the rest. That's what this sketch does. It takes 8 readings, finds the maximum and minimum values in that groups, eliminates them, and averages the remaining 6 readings. Okay, it's better, but still it is not really accurate. The range is considerably less, from 17.5 to 18.9 centimeters, which is an improvement. But if you look at the histogram, there are 2 almost equal readings at 17.9 and 18.3 centimeters, with an almost normal distribution around the 17.9 centimeter value. Ideally, we would like a more or less normal distribution centered around one value. And remember, the actual distance at which the target is set is at 19.0 centimeters. Okay, let's take a slightly different approach. Perhaps we could look at a moving average of the value. So, here is a sketch that implements a moving average filter. It slows down the response a little bit, but that's not a problem in my project. The response is good with a range of 17.1 to 18.0 centimeters with an average of 17.6. But it has a slight oscillation in the waveform and also the dreaded bumps. The histogram shows a reasonably normal distribution, which is what we want. Good, but not the best. Maybe we can make it better. We can combine the 2 previous approaches, which is eliminating the spikes and implementing a moving average filter in the same program. Here's the sketch and the telemetry. The range is smaller, from 17.9 to 18.2 centimeters, which is less than half a centimeter deviation between high and low. That means that any reading on that waveform will be within 2.6% of the average. The histogram looks almost normally distributed around the average of 18.05 centimeters. Also, the average of 18.05 centimeters is only 5% off the actual distance of 19.0 centimeters. This looks like about as good as I can get without going to a more expensive or elaborate design. So I believe this program is adequate for my project. I still have a bit to do before I'm done. I must prove that this solution gives good readings over the 10 to 80 centimeter range of the sensor. So I broke out the test setup and Excel again, made some more readings, and plotted the actual distance against the calculated. The line should be straight at a 45-degree angle, which it's not quite, but it is close. Except for the 60 to 80 centimeter range, it is adequate for use. This is not the best system design, and it could be improved. There are other approaches that can be tried, such as using the mode of a range of readings instead of the average, a different type of software filter, or use an active filter with an op-amp that would also boost the maximum sensor signal closer to 5 volts for increased accuracy. Most of these would cost extra money and/or development time. In this project, I was looking for an inexpensive way to use the sensor. Remember the old adage, you can solve any problem if you throw enough money and/or time at it. So let me know in the comments if you have a favorite way of noise reduction. If you like this video, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.